Hi everyone, today is the 12th of September, and our meditation is based on Romans 12, verse 13, the second part of verse 13 that says, make sure you are hospitable to stranger. Make sure you are hospitable to strangers. Hospitality is seen here in Romans 12, chapter 12, as a gift from God's grace, a gift that God has given his church. And like other gifts, we can pursue a gift. We can search for a gift as well. Ask God for that gift. The practice of hospitality here is actually not just he didn't say here in the text that we should practice, not just practice, but make sure we did that. It is nearly like we're going out on the streets trying to find people to help and to bring them home and be hospitable to them. In Paul's days, it was extremely dangerous to travel in certain parts of the Roman Empire, and there were lots of people like Paul going from one town to another, sharing the good news. And people like him needed a place to stay because sometimes there were no hostels for them to stay. And then the persecution came, and Christians had to move from one town to another town, from one village to another, from one area to another area. And the people like that were not welcomed in hostels. So they had to be helped, and other Christians had to have them. It's interesting because the first part of verse 13, our meditation of yesterday, says that they had to contribute to the needs of God's people. And then he says, make sure you practice hospitality to strangers. It's not just to the saints here, actually, but to strangers. But it could be to strangers, meaning that those were people who are not from the community, from the Christian community. So they're traveling through a town, and they needed hospitality. And that was actually how people were identified as Christians in those days. They saw the love of God in practice in their lives. There's another text very interesting in the New Testament that talks about hospitality. It is Hebrews 13, verse 2. Do not forget to show hospitality to strangers. Again, for by so doing, some people have shown hospitality to angels without knowing it. This text is written to people from a Hebrew background, so they knew their Bible, they knew their stories, and they knew about Abraham, about other people who had angels staying with them, and some without even knowing. They had some amazing sort of visitation from God, and some of them didn't even know. But the word angel is also the word messenger here in the New Testament. So you could actually be receiving messengers of God in your house without knowing. As we know now that to give is more important than to receive, when you are giving, you are really receiving, spiritually speaking. So when you practice hospitality, you're actually demonstrating God's love in action in your life, blessing other people. There is nothing more interesting to be able to give that way, to prepare a nice meal, to prepare the best room in your house for your guests, and just be a blessing to them. We realize, as I said yesterday, that we come into this world naked, and we are going to leave it naked as well. As James said, we're not going to take anything from here. So everything that God has given us here is to actually to use it to bless other people. I just had a terrible news yesterday of a cousin who just passed away yesterday morning, and she has already been buried because things go very fast in Brazil. My sister told me yesterday that a few days ago, 4 or 5 days ago, she saw this cousin in town, and she was fine. And then yesterday morning, she wasn't feeling very well, and then she passed away. She had a stroke. life is so short and it can go really fast like that. So that's why it is important that we be aware of practicing hospitality, of giving, of helping, of being, of having a big heart for the people of God and for strangers as well, as he says, both Hebrews and Romans says that. What is Peter going to talk about hospitality? Offer hospitality, he says, to one another without grumbling. Very important, without grumbling. And we don't do it to receive, because to give is better than to receive. 1 Peter 4 verse 9 says this. And one thing that is added here is it is to one another. The same Bible that says love one another says offer hospitality to one another. Very interesting, isn't it? It is very important to demonstrate God's love through hospitality. Be a hospitable person. God bless you.